to the last video on the bed, and that is, you've already seen how we cut the bed down. We took 3 feet out of the front of the bed, cut it all out, and put it all together. Now I'm going to show you guys how I took the rails and was able to cut them down the same. It's pretty cool, and we're fixing to show you how to do it. And as I thought, these bolts here are stripped out. They don't want to come out like they're supposed to, so we're going to have to get creative and use vice grips to hold the top piece here. That's always good for it. One DeWalt tool down. John Wayne said it best. Life's hard. It's even harder when you're stupid. I'll be danged. Actually came off. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this and we're going to tack weld it onto that, just so we can get the bolt out. I know it's stupid, but what we got to do. After we set our machine back to MIG, that's what we're going to do. That was entirely too much work. Now let's take some measurements and get to stepping on the top side. Alright, I went ahead and got those 4 bolts pulled out, and I got this bracket pulled off. It's going to have to come back this way. So we're going to start doing our measurements now. Now we got all the bolts out of there. I'm going to hold off pulling the bolts out of here until I get my measurements made and get the cuts made. That way we can make sure we're going to have a maximum opportunity for success. Where do we need to be? Bolts are 1.25 inches. That is 1.25 inches off the center line. That is where we're going to cut that one. No, they're 1 inch. And that is 6 inches. 6 inches from the end. Right there. Those two are going to cut right there. Those right there are exactly 1.5 inches. And that other hole is 3.5 inches right there. We're going to be 1.5 inches off of here. Flush with the line. I think it's good right there. Let's go ahead and square it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and drill these holes, because I like to drill holes through, like I don't want to individually drill these holes by themselves because they could walk. I'm going to drill one hole, bolt this thing on, and then drill the holes through that. Another thing you can do, you see you're rolling that thing around, you can roll your drill around. I'm a little off center right now. You roll it around, you get back into center. And you got to see I'm just a little bit off. I can roll it just a little bit more that way. Now we ain't got to worry about it walking. Alright, here we go. That's all on it. Now we're going to take our saws off. We're going to cut this piece of fiberglass off right here. We're going to take these bolts out right here. We're going to cut this piece right here. Contact! Got a little burnt WD-40 in the morning. Now we're gonna do some saws on it. A little bit of an error there. You guys can see that hole. This is where this troop carrier is supposed to be sitting, so I'm off by that much. This is okay. Did my measurements wrong. Luckily I went long instead of short, so I got to move this down, whatever that is, probably 2 inches. So I'll get that done right now. Not forget the last little bit of this, which is our carter pins. Alright, carter pins in. Thing's not square. Whoa. There we go. Square now. Glad I checked that and got ugly fast. Full-on butt grabber right there. We'll get that off. I'll take a flap this to that here in a minute. We got to drill one more hole right here, right yonder. Alright, one more little bracket needs to be done. Now, we're going to do this one just like we did the other side. We'll lay it up there like that, do our measurements, drill our holes. And that, fellas, is the last bolt on the bed. Let's fold her up and see what we got. Alrighty, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, we got one more thing to do to the bed. I think I bent this whenever I was pulling it out. It's been out pretty good, so I'm going to take the coming on and pull it back in. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. No job's complete without a little bit of paperwork. Alright, just like that, the bed is done. Alright everybody, and just like that, the bed's done. We were able to get the bed cut down by 3 feet here in the front. You can't really tell that anything was done because we redid the cap. And we were able to get the troop carrier seats cut down and mounted, and you can't really even tell that that's been done. We're getting really close to being done, and the next video you guys are going to see is us taking this down to the creek and having a good time with it for its intended purpose. So stick around, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.